How today is going to kind of go, or at least for this hour together, is I'm going to review some housing information that some of y'all might be familiar with. Some of y'all might find this new. We're going to do a couple quick demos so you can see in real time what the housing selection process looks like. We're going to go through a couple different variations of how you might be picking housing. And then at the end, we're going to leave some time for y'all to be able to ask us any questions. So without further ado, let's just jump right in. All right. So, like I said, I kind of at a glance today, we're going to be talking about housing selection, meal plans, and then a couple of the relevant housing policies that are just important things for you to know. So, on-campus housing for TCNJ is divided into two cohorts. So there's the first year experience, which is what y'all are going to be a part of for this upcoming first year at TCNJ. And then when you return to housing after your first year, everyone is a part of the rising student experience. So buildings here, you're going to see Abe, Centennial, Cromwell, Norsworthy, Travers, and Wolf. And just in a second, I'm going to show you guys a little bit of a snippet about each of the buildings, what they look like, and some reasons why you might want to find yourself selecting into them. So first up, we have Centennial. So this building consists of two wings, male and female wings. They are shared bathrooms, and so wherever you see shared bathrooms across these slides, what we're referring to as bathrooms with multiple showers and bathroom stalls and sinks and kind of like a and that's kind of for like a section of the wing or hallway or floor that you're going to be assigned to or be assigning yourself to. Centennial consists mostly of single and double rooms. So if either of those are options for y'all, you can look in Centennial. And one of my favorite things and one of our favorite things about Centennial is they have has really nice lakeside views. So one of the wings looks out into the lake and it's kind of like a cool view, obviously, but also a little bit cooler with like the trees and kind of coverage like that. Cromwell is a building which consists of six-person suites. And so what we mean by that is six students which are divided into three double rooms. Those three double rooms then share a bathroom. And so this is our semi-private bathroom option for residential students in the first year cohort. Primarily double rooms, and this building is actually, as we speak, having air conditioning installed into it. So this is something that is new for y'all. We're super excited to be able to share this with y'all, and we're hoping it makes the building quite a positive living experience. And then some of our other housing options as well. We have Norsworthy. This consists of co-ed floors. So you may be maybe a male identifying student and your male roommate will be with you, and then maybe across the hall or next to you is a room with female students. And so in this building, like I said before, shared bathrooms on the floors, primarily double rooms, and then this is also another building that is AC equipped. Then we have Travers and Wolf, co-ed floors, single and double rooms, shared bathrooms, and this is also the location of our late night dining T-dubs, which is super convenient because students living here are able to kind of just go straight downstairs. They don't have to worry about going outside in order to be able to get a bite to eat when they're up late studying. And so Travers and Wolf are kind of bundled together here because they are the same exact they are two of the same buildings. They're twins. They're just kind of parallel opposites of each other, and then there's a area that it connects the two of them together. And then last but not least, we have Alan, Brewster, and Eli, which we kind of bundle together and we call Abe. Even though they're technically three different buildings, they each are connected with one another, so it's kind of like a joint complex, but similar to Norsworthy, co-ed floors, single and double rooms, shared bathrooms, and AC equipped. So I just kind of spat out a bunch of words about what makes some of these buildings and spaces different from each other, but some things that you'll find similar regardless of where you're living are some of the amenities included in your room. So obviously, each room comes with a twin XL sized bed frame. Just want to make sure that's implied. You're not just getting just a mattress. We have desk, chair. You will have either a closet or a wardrobe. And then also within your building, you'll have access to communal lounge spaces that vary. in location based on what type of building and the building's layout. And then each building also has access to laundry facilities. And so the important and also cool thing is that laundry is included, so you don't need to plan any extra like quarters or change or funds to be able to do laundry. You can do it as many times as you need to. So those are a little bit of the things that you'll kind of have as like physical amenities in the building. So talking about room selection, um, today you all received an email earlier about your room selection time slot. This is the specific time that you may begin to log on to My Housing, go in and pick your room. If you try to log on before this time, unfortunately, you're just going to kind of run into a wall. It's going to say it's not available. So we just say, hey, just wait and come on back once your time slot has arrived, and then you'll be able to go pick your room. So between that time slot and July 5th, you'll be able to log on. You can choose your room. If you are if you have a roommate or you're a part of a roommate group, you will be able to select a space and assign everyone else in your group with you. After you select your room or after someone has selected a room for you, you'll then be able to go pick your meal plan, and we'll talk briefly towards the end about the different meal plans that are available to you. And also in just a second, we'll kind of walk through what maybe having a roommate group also looks like. Roommate matching. So there are several ways that you can search for and match with a roommate through My Housing. If you know the specific person, you can just search them up through their name or their student ID number. Um, you can use some of the roommate matching questions that we asked you in the housing application to see if someone would be a good match for you. So, for example, I showed my compatibility with Brad. We are a 60% match, though I think maybe in real life we're 80, 90% because we work so closely together. You can also look up someone through their roommate group info. So if I created a roommate group and I want Brad to join it, I could send him my roommate group information. And then also, My Housing can recommend you roommates, which is pretty cool. So if you're not sure where to start, you can see who are some people that may be good compatible options for you. And then from there, you're able to reach out to them, create a group together, and then pick housing as like a team. So with that in mind, let's go hop into My Housing and take a look at what housing selection actually looks like. Alrighty. So here we are. We're on My Housing homepage, and I see a couple of things, but the most important thing that I'm going to be looking for is this button right here that's going to appear in the top left for you, Housing Selection. So my time slot has arrived, I'm going to go ahead and click this. I'm going to confirm that I am choosing housing for this upcoming academic year. And then, like I said before, because my time slot has arrived, I'm going to be able to continue to housing selection. If for some reason your time slot hasn't arrived yet and you try to go through here, it's going to send you right back. But we're now able to go through. So housing selection literally looks like more or less like an online shopping experience. So the cool thing here is that I'm able to search for rooms based on a bunch of different criteria, including price, the type of room. So if I want a double room or single room or triple room, the building. So any of the buildings that I was just talking about. And then also attributes. So if there's something specific that I'm looking for in a room, whether I want one that is air conditioned, I can just check this off here. And now I'm seeing only rooms that have air conditioning equipped. And so that you can use that to pick the room that you want. So for this example, we're going to look into Allen Hall. And I want to choose this room here, 203. So one thing that I can also do is show room info. So if I want to learn a little bit more about the room, or more importantly, if someone is already in the room, I want to see who they are. I can see here that Brad has also chosen to pick 203 as well. I can see who Brad is, and I can see a little bit of a profile about him. So if I decide that, yep, this is the room I want, this is where I'm going to live, I'm going to go back to this page. I'm going to add the room to my cart, and then I'm going to hit save and continue. I then will be able to assign myself to this space, click assign beds, It's going to ask you one more time, are you super sure? And then I'm going to say, I am super sure I want to live with Brad. And now my room has been booked. And so after this, I'm now able to select my meal plan. I have three options as a first year student. And I'll kind of break down those options for you in a minute. So that's what it looks like if I'm selecting a room assignment just completely on my own. So I know some of y'all might be selecting with one roommate, two roommates, three roommates, or even more. I kind of want to show you guys what that looks like as well. So I'm going to we're going to run this selection process again as a different person who is a part of a roommate group. We're going to use Leah's account. Leah is one of our close colleagues. So Leah here is going to go into housing selection. It's going to select housing. Their time slot has arrived. And I know now that I have two members in my roommate group. So now I'm picking as a team, which is me and my roommate. So let's say I want to make sure I'm picking a room that can actually fit both of us. So let's go with Allen 207. We're going to add this to the cart and hit save and continue. So now I'm able to say, you know what? I'm going to be in bed one. My roommate GB is going to be in bed two. And then from here, I would be able to click assign beds and it would go through that same process. So the cool thing is that because GB is my roommate, once I completely go through this and assign myself a room, GB will all she'll have to do is log on to my housing and just pick a meal plan. Once I make this room assignment, it's going to be for both of us. So only one of us in a roommate group has to actually make the assignment. In most cases, the person that you'll want to be able to do this is the person who either has access to a computer that day or whoever has the earliest time slot in your group. So it's important that you're chatting with your roommate group or your future roommate just to see, okay, who has an earlier time, who's going to be the person to pick for us. So the last scenario that I'm going to show you guys is through the perspective of Jaren here. All right, let's take a look at Jaren. So Jaren is also in a roommate group, and you'll see how many roommates she has in just a second. Her time slot's active. And let's see here. Jaren is in a group of three, so it's her and two other people. So let's say we're, we're in a group of three, and Jaren is really thinking about living in Allen. We're gonna add that to cart and hit continue. Oh, okay, we got an error. That's okay. That's because Allen mostly consists of singles and double rooms. So I'm not able to have us all assigned to a room together. So I'm gonna have to look for a building that has enough space for all three of us. That option primarily is going to be Cromwell. So the thing about Cromwell is that each room is within each of the three rooms makes up one suite. And as you can see here, you're able to search for the different suites. So I want to make sure that um, I'm picking rooms that are within the same suite, or else the system won't let me choose a space. And even worse, I just won't even be in the same suite as my friends, and that's it's like not even the point. So we're going to choose 139, 140, and 142 as our suite together. And because there's three of us, I need to make sure we have at least three beds to choose from. So I'm going to choose 139 and 140. Save and continue. So similar to before, I'm able to decide what bed I'm going to be in. And so now, because we have a couple different options, I'm able to be a little bit more flexible with where each of us are going to be assigned. So let's say I talked to Jaren, Bedoya, and Dave. I, as in Jaren, am going to be staying with Bedoya, so I'm going to choose 139-2, and then Dave is going to be in room 140. So if I were to hit continue and proceed through and confirm our housing selection, now we're all going to be in the same suite. What that also means is that Dave has an extra vacancy, which is this second bed here. So Someone else is going to be able to, participate in housing selection, see that vacancy, and if they want to be roommates with Dave, they can absolutely do so. That bed is now available to them. So that's really just kind of what the process looks like as a glance. If at any point you select a room, maybe you go to bed Tuesday night and you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, oh my gosh, I picked Alan, but maybe I wanted Brewster. The cool thing is you can come back here and you can reassign yourself. All you have to do is click right back into this housing selection process. If you've already chosen a room and finished the process, it'll say, hey, are you thinking about making a change? You can just go right in there and change your housing assignment yourself. So now that I have showed you guys that, some of the pictures and things I have here are going to look a little bit familiar. So like I said, once you have your time slot, you'll be able to see this housing selection window. You actually won't be able to pick until your time slot has arrived. You'll be able to search, like we were just talking about, based on a bunch of different room attributes, room type, location. And like I said, after you pick your room, you're going to be able to choose your meal plan. So as an incoming first year student, you have three options to choose from. The 10 meals per week, 15 meals per week, and 19 meals per week. What we talk about when we refer to meals per week is you get a certain number of what we call swipes into ICOF, which is our main dining hall on campus. Within ICOF is a variety of different options. It's all you can eat. And I love it. There's always like something unique to kind of eat there. And so you're choosing a combination of a number of swipes and also what we consider flex points. And that's kind of like a dollar amount that you're able to use at other eateries on campus. So, for example, in the student center, we have a pasta pizza place. If one day I'm in the student center and I want to eat lunch there, I can use my flex points to purchase pasta. That's going to cost me however much pasta costs. I don't remember the exact cost offhand. Let's say for dinner, I want to go to ICOF. So I'm going to use one of my swipes to go into ICOF for the night. So you're able to decide whether you want maybe a lower amount of meal swipes and a higher amount of flex points or vice versa. Regardless, each meal plan also comes with $100 in Campus Town dollars, which is available to use at our Campus Town eateries. And then last but not least, I also wanted to kind of run through what costs look like. And because of the different buildings, there's different costs and pricing options. So the cost of your housing is based on the tier and the occupancy of your room. So what do I mean by that? So tier refers to different buildings are in certain tiers based on what amenities they have available to them. There are three tiers, contrary to what you're seeing here, tier one, tier two, and tier three. There aren't any first year buildings that are within tier three, so we're mainly just going to be looking at tiers one and two. And as you can see here, Centennial, Travers, and Wolf are in tier one. Abe, Norsworthy, Cromwell are in tier two. So that's understanding maybe the tier. And now at the bottom here, I can see the price, which is also based on what tier and the type of room, whether it's a single, a double, or triple that I'm choosing into. So referring to maybe our example before where I chose a room in Allen with my friend Brad. I chose a tier two, 'cause that's where Allen is, and a double room. So I'm going to look for this at this table here and see tier two, double. I'm paying what we refer to as the base rate. So to kind of understand it in a nutshell, this base rate, this base here is the same number across all of these different spots. And then depending on the type of room that you're choosing, you're either adding or subtracting 500 or $1,000 based on that base rate. So just to kind of use simple math, let's say a double is $5. If I am paying $5, let's say, you know what, actually, I want to live in a single room. I move to a tier two single room. That means I'm paying $5 plus the $500. Or, you know what, actually, I want to go live in Travers and Wolf. Brad and I are going to change to that building. Now I'm going to a tier one double, $5, the base rate, minus $500. thank you guys so much for being able to come today. We really appreciate the chance to kind of chat with you a little bit. And, for most of y'all, we're going to be seeing you in just a couple of weeks for orientation, which is super exciting. If you have any questions or you think of anything, do not hesitate to reach out.